friends. I wanted to hop on here and share a really neat, unique product that I ran across when I was at Hack Your Health in Florida a couple of weeks ago. Um, as I explained in a video a couple of months ago, which I'll link up here, um, life has been lifing really hard. And for one of my kids, I had been researching some stuff for how to help with traumatic brain injury. And while I was at Hack Your Health, I came across a booth that sold ketones. And obviously, if you eat on the ketogenic diet or keep your protein at a certain level and your fat at a certain level, um, and even like fasting overnight, you're going to have ketones in the morning. We know babies are born in ketosis and they make ketones, unless you're my granddaughter, but that's a whole other story. But ketones are very good for brain health, focus, lowering inflammation, just a whole host of things. And we know that sometimes, especially in the beginning of moving from the standard American diet to more whole food, where we prioritize our protein and our fat, it can be hard for the body to figure out how to make and use ketones. And so, anyway, I've been researching exogenous ketones, especially for people that maybe they just can't eat enough, or because there's something goofy going on in their brain or their gut. That appetite signaling isn't there, so they're not able to eat enough to make the ketones. And I came across a company called Qitone, and it is spelled Qitone, but it's pronounced ketone. And I was talking with the two founders that were there. They actually have a grant that for studying traumatic brain injuries in our military personnel. And so they have a huge grant, which you'll hear in the following video, from the Department of Defense. And so right there just really grabbed my focus, because that's one thing that I've been really, really on the search for, because there's many different ketones. You've got ketone esters and ketone salts and BHB and all these, different brands. Not all of them raise your ketones. They're all expensive. So if your situation calls for needing to use an exogenous ketone for whether it's for long term or just for short term, you want to know you're getting the best bang for your buck and that it's actually working. And so this booth with these two gentlemen, Mike and Sean, took all the time out, chatted with me, gave me samples. I ran into Dr. Ovadia, who is a carnivore cardiologist, and he was very impressed. What I could tell, he was very impressed with the product, and actually came back for a second sample before he was going to give his presentation, because he had tested and knew that they did raise his ketones. And so that's another thing. If you're needing like a quick hit of mental clarity or something like that, sometimes using a ketone can be a really good thing. So the other thing that I've been researching ketones for is cardiovascular health. And so Dr. Ben Bickman, actually, it's amazing. Some of the things that like I've been thinking of and like actually researching, then all of a sudden Dr. Bickman comes out with one of his insulin IQ classrooms specifically on what I was researching. And I know it's not my phone listening because that would not affect what he was going to teach. So it's really, if you know me, I'm a faith-filled person, and it's really a God thing. And I truly believe that it was a God thing that I ran across this company, because there was some other ketone companies there as well. And but I really, really liked this. Gives you the biggest hit of ketones as far as like amount wise for the best bang out of everything that I've checked. And it doesn't have, a lot of the ketones have like a really bitter taste. So if you're trying to do for brain health, someone say for Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, Dr. Mary Newport has written books on Alzheimer's and using ketones and coconut oil, and that really helped her husband who had early Alzheimer's. And so I'll link her website in the show notes. But you don't want something that's going to be bad tasting, because you might not get a person with Parkinson's or Alzheimer's to take it, and it would be very important for them to take it. So anyway, I had a few samples while I was down there. I could really feel it, and I know it wasn't placebo because while I was down there, the first day that I took the sample in the morning before I left the hotel, I took it in the morning. I didn't even think about it. And about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, like I wasn't even thinking about anything, right? I had like this biggest energy rush, almost like euphoric, like when I've done a 5-day fast. I didn't have my Keto Mojo with me, so I didn't check my ketones or anything. But I was talking at the speed of light, and I had so much energy. And it was actually then that I met Kelly Hogan, and I was just like, I am so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just like have all this energy, and I was just, and she said, that's how I get when I eat nothing but fat. And then my ketones are really high. And that's when it dawned on me that it was the ketone product, because I hadn't really been eating a lot that weekend. So I know my ketones like weren't naturally up there. I should say I hadn't been eating a lot of fat. They probably were maybe moderate, but because of stress with traveling and things, that can like knock them down. So anyway, Mike was so gracious to do an interview at the booth, and I was not planning on doing an interview, so I did not bring my external like microphones. So the audio quality is not the best. I did like try to clean up some of the background noise and stuff, so hopefully you'll be able to hear everything that he's saying, and eventually I will have him back on I will have him on my channel for an interview, along with, he said he'd be able to get some of the scientists and stuff that they work with to come on and do like a Q&A or stuff. But not everyone needs to take a ketone product. There's really certain instances where I would recommend it. I don't recommend it to all my clients. Really, that's going to be like someone that has a heart condition or cardiovascular issues, because I'll try and link Dr. Bickman's video up here somewhere. If not, I'll put it in the show notes. It helps the heart not have to work so hard. Traumatic brain injury would be another area, because the brain prefers ketones, and that will help it to be able to heal and pull the inflammation down and things like that. That's a huge area. Neurological issues such as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia. Those are going to be really big ones focus on ketones because diet just would like not be enough. Someone with cancer would probably do well with taking a supplemental ketone just to keep their energy up. And especially if you're following a cancer-centric ketogenic diet, your protein is going to be a little bit lower because your fat is going to be up. But if you're using chemo or anything like that, a lot of times that can bring down your appetite, and so then you might not be able to get those ketones up. And so taking an exogenous one would probably be a good idea. Someone that's really struggling with switching from the standard American diet or the SAD diet to eating more ketogenic, and they're going through that like keto flu, using a ketone supplement for the first like week to month while their body's learning how to burn ketones and fat, that may be appropriate. For someone like that, then afterwards, do you need to take a ketone like regularly? Probably not. You might want to take it before a workout so that you have that extra energy and your body is then like, oh, hey, I have ketones. So ketones beget ketones. So when you have them in your system, then it kind of trains the liver to make them. So yeah, those would be my recommendations. So I hope you enjoy this interview. If you do, be sure to share this with others. Again, I apologize that the audio is not the best, but I will have more because I really want to explore this area. Just because of things going on in my own life with traumatic brain injury in my family, and relatives that I just think it's fascinating, and I think the brain is fascinating. This could probably be very beneficial for someone with ADHD or autism. That would be another area that a ketone would be appropriate. But again, it can't be something that tastes disgusting because an autistic child will not use something that tastes disgusting. So the nice thing about this is it's a powder. It's not bitter. There's really no flavor really at all. And you can mix it into yogurt. That's what I've been doing for my husband. You can mix it into yogurt. You can mix it into a shake, a protein shake, just water, anything like that. And it doesn't really change the flavor. It'll change the viscosity because it is gonna it's not gonna just be thin like water, so it will change the viscosity of the liquid a little, but definitely. And if you I will link the website below because you can order samples. There's no affiliate or anything like that, so I get nothing for sharing this company. I just, after talking with them, and seeing the research that they're doing and the funding that they have, I really, really believe in this company's mission, and that it's different than any of the other ketones that I have tested, because I've tested them. I've spent my own money on them. And so I just think that it's going to be beneficial and it's going to be a game changer. So with that, I will let you get on with the review. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and that you have the notification bell on so that when I post videos, which I know hasn't been very often lately, you'll get notified. Thank you, and we'll talk again soon. Okay, I am here with Mike from Qitone. I pronounced it Qitone this morning, but it's Qitone. So tell me a little bit about your product, your company.
Yeah. No, so really happy to meet you. Qitone is the first unflavored, non-bitter ketone ester supplement to hit the market. If you or anyone else is familiar with other ketone products, they're mostly very bitter, hard to take every day just because their taste is so bad. We have no taste. It's really exciting. Some coffee, protein shakes. We made ice cream. So very fun.
It's very good too.
Very good. Why are ketones important and beneficial? Really good for brain health, cardiovascular health. We actually just finished a study that showed that cardiac efficiency can actually increase by about 20 to 30%, which is kind of wild. Very good for women's health. So PCOS support during menopause and menopause. The thing that's actually really exciting about ketone and ketones in general is how it support healthy brain, specifically related to concussions, EBI, dementia-related complications. Also, the science behind that is in a concussed state or the dementia brain, is that the brain can utilize glucose as well as it could. So ketones sort of serve as that secondary fuel source where there would be an energy gap. So great for brain health, cardiovascular. We actually have a $10 million grant with the DoD, Department of Defense, studying how ketones can support veterans who are dealing with concussions, TBI-related impact. So we're really excited about that. We have some other research going on with some other very big academic institutions in the U.S. looking at bipolar, ADHD, dementia. So yeah, really excited to be available for people looking for an easy, sort of delicious way to increase ketone levels.
That's awesome. So, you are partnered with which institute? Buck Institute?
That's it. So it's the Buck Institute for Research on Aging. It's a Northern California-based research institution, sort of a world-renowned academic group who are looking at nutritional interventions to support healthy aging and dementia prevention.
That's awesome. So outside of the not bitter, what else sets this product apart as opposed to some of your competitors?
Yeah, that's a really good question. All ketones aren't created equal. They probably familiar with things like MCT oils, which have been around for 50 years. The problem with MCT oils is we're all familiar with them. They slightly increase ketone levels, but sometimes they're very hard to. If you have especially a sort of sensitive stomach, you would have to take a lot of MCT oils to get sort of that therapeutic sort of benefit from increased ketone levels. So it can be rough on a sensitive stomach. There's some other things like ketone salts. That's another class of ketones. Ketone salts moderately increase ketone levels, but come with a very heavy salt load, which can be tough for long-term usage. There's another class of ketone esters, which is this is technically ketone esters are that bitter.
Yep.
Very expensive per serving. Usually ketone esters are anywhere from $5 to $20 per serving. This is about the price of a cup of coffee per day, so about $2.50 a serving, which is great. I would say the really exciting thing about ketone is that it's more of a steady increase in ketone levels, so it lasts for about 2 to 4 hours, where other products either only slightly increase your ketone levels or are that sort of dramatic spike and dramatic drop. So this is kind of that steady increase, which is really good for longer therapeutic benefits.
And how would this compare to, say, a primarily BHB product?
Yeah. This is a more natural, it uses your body's natural sort of production method of creating BHB. So this is technically the precursor to BHB. So when you take ketone, your body digests it, your liver then converts it into BHB, and then is eventually converted into ketones, which your body then uses for energy. So it's a more natural production.
Now, I heard someone saying what is in this creates like an alcohol. but I don't, is that correct? Is this because you said the liver converts it? Does that make it hard on the liver, or
That's a really good question.
maybe you don't know?
There are some other products out there that are only butanediol.
Yep.
So just technically an alcohol. Butanediol can lead to long-term usage on liver. It's the data is still sort of early, but there's sufficient data to suggest that long-term straight butanediol consumption can be problematic for your liver.
Okay.
This product, it does have butanediol in it, but it's esterified, so it's an ester bond between butanediol and oxaloic acid, which is a medium chain fatty acid. So it's not just straight butanediol consumption.
Okay.
So it's a safer long-term alternative.
Awesome. I think that was all my questions.
Okay.
So thank you so much. And I'm excited to try this with a couple people I have in mind
Excellent.
and share the product. So thank you so much.